enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
So, take two for this tale, but it's all the best tales usually have a flub or two, a false start, and this one is no exception because we already had a great podcast, but only I heard it. Figure we'll do this one for the fans and make sure they can hear the amazing tales from you, Marilyn, because we had an awesome conversation last time because one, you've been kind of typecast as the old lady type, which you play expertly. Your your recent picture that you're out promoting right now is one of Mr. Jason Pitts's Forest Through the Trees, which we know and love Jason on this network as well as all your cast. From Anna Hardwick to Scott to Olivia to Jason to James. We have had all of them on, and it is such a pleasure to have you on. And I loved Forest Through the Trees. I thought it was an excellent movie that kept you guessing all the way to the end, especially when it comes to your character. I think that you do a very good job at that unassuming old lady that when we meet you, it's interesting to see how all the characters in this movie progress throughout the film. And it's expertly done on Jason's part on actually, getting this excellent, worked out, finely polished film put there. And now to be able to go out there and promote it must be amazing because you already put in that hard work to craft your character and really get into Miss Thompson, if I'm not remembering incorrectly.
No, it's Mrs. Thompson.
Mrs.
And
Thompson,
you're
yes.
correct. Yeah. And I mean, I can't say enough about the story. The story is awesome. I mean, it builds and it builds. It's a very character driven film, and there are a lot of characters that are introduced. But of course, you've got the main ones, which are Ken and Chloe and Ava and Julian.
Mm-hmm.
And the supporting cast, I think, all in general, do a awesome job
Oh, yeah.
in delivering their characters, and of course, all the lead cast do. I mean, I can't. Oh my goodness, I wasn't on set the whole time for every scene. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
were,
Right.
but when I saw it on the big screen and I saw everyone's performance, I was in awe. I really was. I mean, it was like, wow, they delivered.
Yeah. And everybody had that, it seemed like they had that passion towards this project, and it really came out in the characters because I think when you're getting into the character, especially with this plot, it's very easy to just have fun with because that's one of the best parts about being in a horror movie is that they're really fun. It's not a spy document or a history documentary to where you have a lot to really hit on the numbers. With a horror movie, it's fun. You want to make this as believable and and scary and everything to go right along with the plot. So it's got to be fun as just an actress. Going through your list here, it looks like you have you had recently done the short little sleep, little slumber, and then take it slow as
Take it slow.
some of the other
Yep.
recent ones you did.
Take It Slow was a 72-hour film, like competition kind of thing.
Okay.
48-hour one is like the first type like that, where you've got 48 hours and you get this, and you guys have to roll and turn it in 48 hours. The one Take It Slow was 72 hours, which helped.
Right.
It gave some extra time,
Yeah.
but it was still so intense. It was so intense. And wow, I can't even imagine doing a 48-hour one because the
Oh, yeah.
72 hours was amazing. I wasn't in it a whole lot. I I was like the character that was being talked about,
Hmm.
but it was shot over 2 days. And then written almost immediately as soon as they got the information about what needed to be included,
Right.
and then shot like that morning right after that. So it was written overnight,
Wow.
shot that morning, and then that afternoon, and then the next morning, and then editing and all that stuff had to happen.
Wow.
And I'm just glad I was an actress because
Oh yeah.
trying to do all the extra stuff, before and after, oh my gosh,
Oh yeah,
that
that had to be a nightmare.
very intense for the people that were doing that. Very intense.
Wow. I can't, I would not want to be a part of. No, thank you. A 48-hour or a 72. No,
Yeah.
thank you. That
Well,
seems to be such, that seems like trying to keep the papers on your desk organized in the middle of a hurricane.
right. Well, the good thing about Jason, of course, is he already had people lined up before it. He wanted to make sure, okay, who's in, and let's see what we can all do together. He already had some ideas, but you didn't know um, because you were given two genres, I
Hmm.
think, and I think one was drama and the other one was adventure,
Ooh.
and then like a phrase that you had to put in there and a prop, and but he didn't know until he was given that information,
Right.
and yeah, he pulled it together. His team pulled it together. Jonathan Nichols and Justin Rowe, and I'm going to forget people, but that doing that sound and stuff. Oh, and Tiffany and Carla, and yeah, it's pulling that together, and then working with Buddy Campbell was my first time, and he's an amazing actor. He's
Right.
done a lot of stuff. And so I was actually a little intimidated to meet him and
Right.
act with him because I knew everything that he's done.
Hmm.
And anyway, it was great, and it turned out so good. I'm so proud of that.
That's awesome. I mean, especially because I'm looking at your IMDb, it is quite lengthy in and of itself. Especially the True Detective in the very beginning here of
Yeah,
2019, just under Sweet Inspirations, Old Timer, The Taste of Europe alone, which is Jason Pitts as well.
yes.
And a lot of credits here. And we talked about how you were a producer with Jason before the acting. Was it producing? What was the act? What was the credit I found?
Um,
What was it?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, producer for Summertime Girls. Let's see.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was different.
Associate producer for Batman Heart of Ice. That's what it was. That's what keyed in
Oh
there.
yeah, I
Because
wanted
that
to
was
help out.
such a
Oh,
brilliant. I love those fan films, and especially Heart of Ice. The I, any fan film that I
yeah,
see out there, I will link into because that's where you can really get the
yeah.
fan saying, "No, this is my idea with Batman." And
Right.
actually doing it is something that what I might have to try one of these days. But that's one of the things that I really loved about Jason, and especially Heart of Ice. The Mr. Freeze has not been done justice in Maine Hollywood. So
Yeah.
actually getting Jason to go behind and do that. Not saying Arnold didn't do a good job,
Uh,
but
Jason,
I'm with you on
Jason did,
that one, Marilyn. That was,
and I wanted to help out Will Reed very much because I adore him, and I really didn't like see a script or anything like that, but I just wanted to support him. And then after I saw the finished project, especially with Jason being Mr. Freeze,
yeah.
I mean, he made me cry.
Oh man.
I'm not lying. I mean, I was like tearing up, I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I doing? It's Jason,
Yeah.
and it looked really good. It looked really good. It was very well done, I thought.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when you have a passion project like that, that's
Yeah.
something that everybody can get behind. And when you have that passion behind it, it bleeds out on the film. No matter what, if you're doing a fan film, an indie film, or a major movie, you got to be passionate about what you're doing. And when you have those people behind you, especially the group and the atmosphere of
Yeah.
shooting, have you overall had a good a good run with directors and crew? Have you run into that nightmare situation where the director's acting like a demon devil in front of you, or anything like that?
I've been very fortunate on every set I've been on. I mean, there will always be things that go wrong, or there's like things that kind of, oh, I wasn't expecting this. Now
Hmm.
not sure what I'm doing or whatever. But that's part of the process. So I've been very fortunate that way. I don't have any like nightmare stories to tell.
Well, that's good.
But every time I go on set with Jason, I just I feel so comfortable and confident about uh, how he set everything up, how he has his team, and if there are hiccups, he's not going to lose his mind or anything. He's
Hmm.
just going to sit there and work through the problem, talk to his people, work through the problem, and you know what? A lot of times those hiccups make some really good things happen.
Yeah, it's the devil's in the details, and those little idiosyncrasies that pop up, the quirks that happen during filming, the little things that can pop up that can be a hindrance. If you turn that negative into a positive, a lot of times you'll find that you actually get a lot better of a product in the back end
Mhm.
because you took the time instead of just reacting to a problem to sit and think,
Right,
okay,
right.
how do we
Yeah,
actually get this to where we need it to be?
right, right. Well, there are a few stories I think Jason may have already talked about, like losing Chloe's contact. And so they needed to film without her contact. Excuse me, I have allergies. But he, uh, he said, that was, of course, a little bit, troubling at
Right.
the time. But then he thought about it, and we have a friend, Chuck Mede, and he's great with special effects like that CGI stuff. And talked to Chuck real quick, and he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And because of that moment, Jason, as he was going along filming, went, "Oh, we could do this here, and we could do this there." And so it became, not that there's a lot of CGI, but there were moments in it where it's like,
That was
oh,
one of my favorite stories that he shared on the podcast, is that
yes,
Annie's eye is
yeah,
all CGI. And I was like, oh my God,
yeah, the whole
that sounds
thing,
expensive.
yeah, yeah, just the whole thing.
The
But
amount of
then there
going
were other
frame
moments
by
too.
frame to change
Yes,
the one
yes.
iris. That's it.
Oh, I know. I can't imagine.
Oh
Oh,
no. Oh, that is so much work. And you got to figure, even if you just go through that final cut of, all right, now add in the eye, that's still, she's a main character. That's a lot
yes.
of film
He's
time that you
like,
got to go through second by
yeah,
second.
almost every scene she's in. I mean, yeah, that's a ton.
God bless him. But that's the attention to detail that went into Forest Through the Trees and made it such a
Yeah,
brilliant film. And, it's got to be a point of pride when you look back at that film to know that you gave your all, everybody else gave their all, and now
yeah,
you all have a solid film that you're all very proud of, and you can gladly go out there because even just seeing the media from 90s on, we've all seen those actors that have been forced to run that promotion gambit, and
yeah.
they knew that movie was a stinker, but they had to, contractually
Yeah,
obligations were there, and
yeah.
they had to promote it. And oh
Yeah.
yeah, I want everyone to go out and see this. Oh God, this movie sucked. Yes, it was. It was so. It was,
I
it was
see
a
smiling.
joy to be on set. Ooh, nothing about the film in the movie. Oh, the set was nice. Okay, craft services was on point. But having that good atmosphere, especially a person who's willing to not just think that they have all of the answers themselves and going and willing to accept new advice from your crew, because you have to have a strong crew. You know, a captain is nothing without a good crew on his ship.
That's right.
And it just shows that Jason has a good crew and he's willing to listen to them, because as long as you have people there with the right advice to help you work over those problems, that's how you get to, now we'll just do that in post. Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. If you can do that, awesome. We won't worry about the contact, because that little contact probably would have been a lot more trouble than it was worth with trying to get that with all the scenes and making sure it's lined up. And
Yeah, actually, it probably would have. I mean, who knows? Or it could have torn.
oh
You
yeah,
know, 'cause they do tear.
they tear and you
Yeah.
just drop, you lose it out of nowhere. Nobody move.
Where to go? Don't anybody walk. You know, everybody stand still.
It's the last thing you need to get holding
Yeah.
production up is contact on the floor. Oh God!
Right.
Hold on, I lost the contact. Oh, again? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But happy little accidents, as Bob Ross would say, leading into something that honestly is one of the most impressive things, because you don't notice it throughout the film.
No.
You don't notice, like, oh, that's CGI. It's just, oh, wow.
No. No.
Does that actress really have two different color eyes? I had that
Right.
thought. I was like, wow, that's perfect casting.
Yeah. Right.
That's perfect.
What are the chances?
You're hired.
What was it? Superman, when they said he was on a contracted for another movie and he couldn't shave his mustache. I didn't know till somebody said something.
Oh, yeah, no, with Henry Cavill. Yeah.
No idea. Then
That
it's-
original CGI was terrible, but
you know, big
Zack
red
Snyder,
nose.
he did it good. No
Yeah.
mustache.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Be like me having Steve do one of the lead female roles in my movie and not have him shave the beard. You know, it would be a little bit weird. It would be a little bit weird, but in today's day and age, you never know.
Yeah.
So, so,
It's all good.
It's all good.
so I saw that there is Trail of Vengeance is the other one on here, as well as When the Stairs Creep. But Trail of Vengeance, is that your next project that you have coming up?
Trail of Vengeance was originally called Broken Trail. It's Trail of Vengeance has been completed, and I shot it I had a small scene. I shot like 2 days after we wrapped Forest, and that I'm really excited about that one too. Even though I have a very small scene, I don't
Right.
know if you guys know who Jeff Fahey is, but
Yes.
I was in the scene with him.
Okay, yeah.
I had like 7 words, but there he was, and I was acting with him, and like, oh my gosh! But I really wasn't nervous. I mean, that too was a really good set with some good people, and
Oh my
course-
God, I just had to look up a picture of him. Yes, he was in
Yeah.
Lost. Holy crap, I remember that guy now.
yeah,
Yeah,
my-
that is so
the-
great.
the first thing that I remember seeing him in was Lawnmower Man.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen Lawnmower Man, even though it's old and it's kind of outdated and stuff, that's where I first remember him in. He's with Pierce Brosnan, and it's a really interesting like sci-fi film, but it's horror too. And so I've seen in him so many things. And so when I saw him on the call sheet, because I didn't know who I was acting with, I didn't know who the colonel was, and then I saw his name on there, and I went, "Oh my goodness!"
You know,
I was
that's
like-
crazy because I'm looking at his IMDb. It's Lost, Wyatt Earp, and Lawnmower Man are the
Yeah.
top 3 things on top of
Yeah.
Alta. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, right there, 1993.
Yeah,
Job Smith.
yeah, He's been around a while. He's done a lot of stuff. Um, but yeah, it was super cool, and that was directed by Johnny Remo, and I think Johnny also was co-writer on it. But Johnny Remo has done a lot of films up here in Arkansas, and because of my agent, Actors Casting Agency, I got to be in it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And I know that I asked you last time um, what other kind of franchise or like a theater or sci-fi, or is there any other genre outside of horror that you wanted to tiptoe into?
um, I'm honestly very much open to anything. Uh, I I really want to do some hardcore drama, but I think something that I would find very fun, the Western
Yes.
drama. I mean, shoot 'em out, cowboys,
Hmm.
whatever, wherever it takes me. Doing a period piece like that, but I'm really open to anything. But
A
I think
good
that would be a
Western is
lot of
coming
fun.
back. Westerns
Yeah,
are coming back because good Westerns, if you get a good one out there, people will dive right into that.
yeah. Uh, Probably one of my favorite westerns was Silverado.
Okay.
You remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean that to me, and I can't remember how that is with Dances with Wolves, but I think no, Silverado was earlier. That to me really opened up my eyes and go, oh, I love westerns. That was a
Yeah.
long time ago,
Yeah.
and they can, the old timey ones, they're fine,
Hmm.
but they're very outdated, and
Yeah. Well, I remember
so
the classic ones like Hang 'em High. The Clint Eastwood ones were
yes,
very synonymous. They were so epic. You know.
Hmm.
they were.
They were.
Yeah, but then they kind of died out, and then Silverado, I think, to me anyway, brought them back around. And actually, Trail of Vengeance
Hmm.
is, of course, a period piece, a western, and so I had a taste of that. I was like, I could do this. This would be fun. Um,
And
Not
there's a lot
only
of
do I,
places you can go in period pieces, especially, looking back today at different information we have in different points of the Old West, even,
yes,
and being able to go back and accurately portray that today is an interesting slice of life. Slice of life. Well, I mean, depending on the time, where you go in the Old West, there probably is a slice of life kind of movie in that is something that could be very powerful, especially if you focus on a more dramatic, because that in that Old West, it was people surviving, and you
yes,
had a lot of unknowns and a lot of lawless land in there. So that's where that kind of fantasy romanticism kind of gets in there that really snags people and keeps them in throughout the whole ride.
yeah, especially if it's more historically accurate, and then that way, I think it does bring people into whatever characters are there. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're New West, Western settlers, or if you're Native American peoples, or people just out there caught kind of in between. It doesn't matter, where you're going. If it's historically more accurate, it does, I think, draw that story into you.
Well, especially when you're looking at the Old West, because it's Old Western, it's Old Americana, it's something
Mhm.
that ties into, just the spirit of film. Because the first films, they're westerns. You have a lot of that being kind of people compare it to the superhero craze, to where westerns were the first kind of superhero movie that was just a popcorn, go watch it. There's not a lot of plot there, have fun, But people evolved that, especially when you look into like Clint Eastwood around his era. That is a lot of really good sit down and watch every minute of it story. You
Yeah.
can have a lot of really good stuff. Even the 310 to Yuma. It's a good movie. You find something that is in that period piece, and I think that it doesn't matter what kind of period you go to. If you do the accurate portrayal of the day to day, it will hold legs, because everybody has that kind of romanticism about the past, and they want to go into that escape, that movie of, oh, let's hop into this fantasy of the West or of, medieval times. Would you actually want to live there? No. We are living in the perfect time right now, son. They're about to regrow eyeballs. We're good. Remember polio? Me neither. You're fine.
Thankfully.
There's a lot of horrible stuff back then. But romanticizing about it in a film is perfect. It's like watching a nature documentary about South America. You don't have to get malaria medicine to watch the documentary, but you get to still see all the sights.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of traveling in film.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love film so much is getting to experience different things without actually having to go through it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Especially disaster movies, which are like some of my favorite ones. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do that, but this is really cool,
Yeah. I mean, especially, there haven't been a lot of disaster movies. I think after, like, what was it, 2012? 2012. Frank's having a little mini 2012 over there with his lights.
Oh, yeah.
But you had 2012. What was that one with Tommy Lee Jones, to where it was like the volcanoes going up in Los Angeles?
It's called it's called Volcano.
Yes. Very aptly named.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had like Twister, all those kind of ones that were, it looked like it was fun filming, but
Oh, absolutely.
an actual volcano. Well, I mean, we got close to that. LA burnt down naturally with the fires, but there was no volcano involved.
That's
in that
awful. Yeah.
But
I saw
those I could see that being fun.
I saw a disaster film recently. It's foreign. It's called The Wave.
Okay.
And there have been disaster movies that have come along. A lot of them are foreign that I've seen. But it was really good.
Okay.
And it has subtitles, which I don't mind. As long as I can stay focused on it, I'm not trying to multitask or anything. Just it was really good. There's a bunch out there, actually.
Yeah, I actually saw, just because of the natural disaster kick here, but there's a good one on National Geographic on the Disney Plus. It was going through tsunamis, and it was the big tsunami that happened in India, and right around, and it was like India and off the coast.
Was it Thailand?
Yeah, that Thailand tsunami. They had the cameras from the people who see, and you see this wave, and it just almost looks like out of Castaway, because it's just a wave in the distance. And you're like, hang on a second, that's getting closer.
Yeah.
And you see the scale of the people compared to the wave, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a film, I think it has, oh my goodness, I'm going to get her name wrong. Naomi Watts in it.
Okay.
And it's called
The other one, that was another.
Impossible. I think it's called Impossible.
Something
like that. But it's about that happening. They were vacationing there, 2 sons and her husband and her. And that moment when that wave comes through and just totally wipes out everybody, they're swept away.
Oh yeah.
They're broken up. They don't know who's where, and it's.
You feel for the people.
I know.
You feel for the people, but the worst part about those documentaries is that they will lead you believing that, just like the person, that their loved one is dead, and then at the end of the episode, boop, there they go and pop up. You're like, oh, thank God. Oh, God, they're okay. They're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but those are like emotional roller coasters because,
Right.
whew, bless you. I just never want to be on one of those coastal towns because tsunamis, man. Whew, Japanese added that into their folklore, and they have stones to where it literally says, "Don't build below here. This is the
Right.
water line,
Yeah.
not down there."
Right. Right.
When you're on those towns,
Very wise.
you
Don't
know.
do that. Right.
Especially after a while, you're going to get learned if you want to keep
Right.
hanging around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really put a nice happy tone on this podcast with that.
Well, I love disaster.
Murder and
movies. I think that's
disasters.
great.
But it's a nice bit of it. Well, besides that last bit, but it's all escapism, which is something very important that people need, especially in this time of day and age where you have constant negative news and
Yeah.
bad sources just constantly berating you every day. You need a good happy tone in life to let you know that, especially because you haven't been traditionally acting your entire life. You came to this just because you wanted to do this.
Yeah. As a kid, I loved movies so much. I think one of the first ones that I saw that really made me want to be an actress was Singing in the Rain. Not that I can sing or dance, but it was just the idea of having this story that's so fun and, there are ups and downs in it, but mostly it's all just happy.
Yeah.
You're just excited. And I was brought up by my dad to watch horror films when I was like 6 years old, and
There you go.
and of course those were like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and
Yep.
things along that time span, and I always wanted to be an actress, and it of course in high school, and I did drama and some theater, and I was with a talent agency called Bobby Ball in Phoenix at the time. But 17 years old came around, and I wanted to get a job where I can move out of my parents' house.
Yeah.
And just doing the typical teenage stuff. So I
Right.
buckled down, did that. And yeah, and then life, takes you away from that original thought.
Hmm.
But I never actually lost it, like lost that idea, because I would see things happening. I'm like, oh, that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
And then True Detective came to town in Fayetteville, and that's season 3. And there was casting call for extras, and I'm like, I can do this, I can do this. And submitted, and a couple times got on there, but only once am I actually seen. But it didn't matter, even if I was never seen, because I was on set and it was a beautiful March day, and I'm getting older and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is what I want to do when I retire. This is it. And so that acting bug, boop, got right there again.
Yep.
And so I did a couple little background things, and then Alone came up with Jason Pitts, and that cinched it.
Yeah. That's the good thing, especially when we mentioned you have over 14 credits on your IMDb, consistent work coming in. I'd say that you're living the dream right now. You're doing it. A lot of people, they go through their whole lives without actually really embracing that dream and going
Yeah.
into it. A lot of people, even like myself, I've been podcasting for a long time, but I didn't think about doing anything directorial wise until recently. I was a very happy middle class service writer for a car dealership, content with working out my days until retirement, and that's what life is. But
Yeah.
now life has a way of steering you to the places that you need to be and
Yeah.
the areas that you need to go, and you go through those ups and downs. But that's one of the benefits that to where when you are in this location of doing something that you love and you've already done something that you don't, you
Right.
have you have an understanding and and an appreciation for it that you previously didn't. And you're like, no, I'm really lucky right here. And I
Yeah.
get to actually do what I love
Yeah.
for a living. I get to do what I love and I'm passionate about. And every day is just more fun, another adventure.
Yeah.
And
And that's what I do love about it is an adventure because uh, no casting call is the same, no audition is the same. Uh, uh, Being on a production set, they're all different.
yeah,
All the characters, even though they're similar sometimes, are different. And keeps me on my toes. In fact, I have an audition tonight too. So
awesome.
Great.
I
That's
know.
awesome.
Always got to stay moving. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it as well.
Moving and grooving. Yeah.
You're continuing to go for casting. I saw Jason is looking for the trial of Margaret Stone.
Yeah. That'll
I'm
be super
excited
cool.
already. I can't wait, and I got a movie to make myself. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for his movie.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
And
I haven't submitted for it.
mhm.
There are no characters in it for me, but I'm going to threw my hat in to help with costumes with
Okay,
the amazing Abigail Freeman, and
awesome.
I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So I'll be there, and it's a period piece, so I'll
Mhm.
get to play with costumes like that. It'll be fun.
I can't wait for it because especially with the period pieces, that's got to be fun with,
Yeah.
because my movie is a 90s movie. Not that far back in time, but you
Right.
do have to have that conscious thought of, oh, they didn't have that. Oh,
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what did they
Things
have?
were very different back then. Just the 90s.
Even just back in the 90s to today, you're like, oh, well, that's
Yeah.
right. No, women, a lot of them wore scrunchies, and
Right.
getting your nails done wasn't really a thing.
Curls and
My producer had to tell me that. They were like, oh, yeah, no, getting your nails done really wasn't as popular as it is today.
mm-hmm.
And I was okay. I
Yeah.
didn't even little things that you don't think of, like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
wasn't around. That wasn't around. This was big. You're like, oh wow. So
Correct me
going
if I'm
back,
wrong. No cell phones, right?
towards the end of the 90s, there were. In the beginning, they were the big.
Were they this big?
Huge. They were big.
They were bulky. I got a whole bag of them in my front room. My mother's been prepping for this prop roll forever, so I have phones. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And
That's
they
good.
go for bigger ones, but in the same
Good.
aspect, when you're looking at a horror movie, especially one at a beach, guess what? In the 90s, there was no reception.
Right.
You had to use a payphone,
Yes.
a dirty payphone, put it up to your mouth. Heaven
No
forbid
one did
today.
anything.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Drink
So,
out of the water hose, pick up that phone,
Right.
know.
But quarter. Beep.
quarters. Oh yeah, all this here. Here are my germs. Here, you have your germs. Yeah, now that's like, I'm
They're fighting
tapping
each
it.
other now.
I don't.
know?
You tap things, or here's my money. No, I don't want to actually exchange anything in my hands.
I'm sure COVID had a lot to do with all that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know.
Before COVID, I'm like, whatever, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's like what? What? He coughed in my face. Okay. What, did it hurt your feelings? After COVID, it's, oh my God, do you feel okay? Are you sure were you wearing your mask? Oh my gosh, how rude.
I know.
Are you trying to kill people? Oh my God.
Oh, it's sad.
Little bit, but
What a wonderful journey.
it's the journey's only going to keep going darker from here, folks. Grab your light.
Man. Yep.
But this has been a great podcast. We've gotten to explore your career a lot more. So, everything for a reason, especially technical bugs aside, because you've had a great start to your career is what I'll call it, because I don't think you're going to slow up or stop anytime soon. I loved you and your character in Forest Through the Trees, and I think everybody needs to go out and search desperately to find out where the next screening for Forest Through the Trees is.
You can find that out, well, on Facebook. Just follow the Forest Through the Trees page. And then uh, there's always lucidlakepictures.com, which has a lot of information on there, but it's also got where the screenings are going to happen. We had a great premiere in Fayetteville.
I saw the pictures. They look so great.
It was so magnificent.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, oh, I'm in Hollywood.
And that was a nice theater too that you had. You guys had
Yeah.
a really nice theater with
Yeah.
you know the poster on the little marquee going into the
Yeah.
theater. You know
Yeah.
those nice reclining
Yeah.
seats. Oh man.
Yeah, a lot of that was due to Twyla Foster, who set up all the red carpet and photographers and just everything that was going on. And then uh, the next screening is in Hot Springs, and that's coming up quick, February 22nd.
Oh gosh, yeah, next
Yeah.
weekend.
I know, I know.
It's right around the corner.
I know. I'm excited about it. It'll be held in a beautiful old theater there called Central Cabaret and Nightclub. And I mean, it is old. It's a historic theater.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm going to go down there. My husband's going to go down there. And you can find tickets on Eventbrite. And of course, go to lucidlakepictures.com and check out the Forest Through the Trees on Facebook.
And that's where they're going to find everything they can for Forest Through the Trees. And we always wish you more continued success. And as always, you're always welcome back on. I will scream Forest Through the Trees through the rafters so that everybody gets on Eventbrite and goes to see this amazing picture. Like I got the chance to, Frank and I got the chance to see the advanced screener of it. And I got to tell you guys that this is a fantastic film. You're going to love Marilyn in it. All of our friends from, you know, Lucid Lake Pictures and James Stokes and all of the cast of Forest Through the Trees. Amazing people, an amazing film that you guys got to go out and check out there. So, Marilyn, thank you so much for being on. And I try to end off this podcast the same way every time. And that's that we love you, we miss you, and we want to see you next time. Until then, game on, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Bye.